Okay, I'm back. Mr. Zuckerberg cut us off there, or the algorithm did, or whatever. And I'm saying how the Buddha left his friends, which was very super uber rad, and listened to that place inside of no obstacle, no regret. I must do what I must do. That calling, right? That romanticized calling that all of us have at times of the metamorphosis that's inside of the caterpillar, that simultaneous DNA to both be a caterpillar and a butterfly. And yet there's the movement from one to the other. I must do what I must do. I must shift, dear caterpillar, into my convulsive movement from land-based thorax existence into rad caterpillar up the tree on the limb, cocoon of darkness and hell, my dark night of the soul, and I must burst my wings and fly. Well, that's a hellacious metaphor for me. I don't want to really live that, but I think we all are living that, especially if you're driven by parami and dhamma, right? There's that place inside of us that we're making choices at the crossroads of our dharma. But at the same time, as I learned it from Mahasi Sayadaw and Sayadaw U Pandita and my association with these timeless teachings of Buddha Dhamma Sangha, known as Dhamma, is that there's this proclivity, if you will, this Dhamma proclivity, a deeper personality structure, where the Buddha was able to look into the mind-body of beings and see their past lives, see their future trajectories. Wow, wow, wow. The psychedelic in those who have moderate levels or higher level of abhinya or jhana, or been in the presence of the psychic intuitive, they know that there are so many dimensions of intelligence that are simultaneously present at this moment now, where they can see and feel these multiple intelligences. I've been around it. I have them myself at times. They're always probably available for all of us should we have the capacity, in a way to say it cliche, to get out of our way and to feel and listen feelingly to the most resonant places of our Dhamma, the parami pulse of the heart. No obstacle there. Only, as I was encouraged, incessant Dhamma opportunity was the mindset of the Bodhisattva, the label of a being dedicated to the release of greed, anger, and delusion, to the full radiance of Buddhahood. I'm not desiring to be a Buddha. I want to be in the company of a Buddha. But the paramis to me really, really speak to my heart. And to listen to the deeper intelligence, the conviction inside. Well, the Buddha left his friends and went to the bank, it said, of the river. And he sat down, wanting guidance, wanting direction, calling forth from within his eternity the cognitive information, if you will, of what to do, how to proceed, and what to know. And I'm looking for guidance right now. I am sitting in my own way, metaphorically, on the bank of my own existential river, having left the conventional belief of what my future could lead, and really feeling at the bank of this river what to do, what to know, and how to do it, when and with whom. We're all there. Every moment of our breath is our first and last, and we all have our day on the side of the metaphorical river of Buddhahood, where we must ask our God, our Maker, our soul, our paramis, to please inform me of what to do, when, and how. I want to make the greatest, clearest, wisest, parami-driven, Dhamma-oriented choice of my life. That's where I am at today. And I'm not sure what that choice is, except I refuse to believe in an obstacle. I'm only speaking for myself. Strike me dead, I'll weep and cry. I include that too, and that too, and that too. I'll remember my Kanti. I'll scream to my Buddha, where are you? I'll do my Jesus act on my own metaphorical cross. Why in the hell have you forsaken me? You know, where is my almond butter this morning? How come I didn't have the insight to buy enough? Okay, my crucifixion. Or the loss of love, the loss of friend, the loss of money, the loss of senses, the loss of intimacy, the loss of mobility, the loss of life. We're all there. We're all on that river of life and death. And so the Buddha was said to have gone deep inside, had a dream of the middle path, the balanced approach. He got up and walked to a place known as Buddha Gaya in northern India. You've been there, I've been there. A great temple where the Buddha was said to have been enlightened under this third or fourth generation Bodhi tree that's still there. And you see the temple and you see the little Buddha statue, and people from all over the world, Buddhists and non-Buddhists alike, back in the day, pre-pandemic, would walk around this ancient temple, reflecting in their own human way on the radiance of what motivated this man, supposedly from 2,600 years back, to sit down there and to engage the deepest forces of his being and fight the good fight with Mara to achieve the radiance of what we've been told of Buddhahood, the full maturation of the paramis, the complete development, is it possible, of generosity? There's nothing that I would not do. I would give my eyes, my ears, I would give my family, I would give my limbs for the sake of developing dana. How many times we've walked the streets of Burma, Mandalay, Monhua, Langthea, Yangon, and seen people giving things. How many times I've been the recipient of food and medicine in a monastery. How many times I've heard and watched in the last 2.5 months the remarkable generosity of the people against all odds, giving food to strangers. Take what you need. The hospitals are closed. They're arresting and torturing doctors and nurses. Yet those who are still free and moving about are offering their services freely. Dana paramita in a maximum expression. Wow. No obstacle. No regrets. This young boy, this Muslim leader who was picked up yesterday, who's been one of the leaders of many in the civil disobedience movement. An army truck rammed into a group of motorbikes with him in there, and they dragged him off, beating him, and no doubt his torture will be so extreme if he even survives. Think of that crossroad, that choice, that paramis. Wow, that bodhisattva having to encounter dana, ethical integrity, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, equanimity. He chose his fate, and he made the incredibly courageous remark, you can do what you want with my mind and my body, torture and kill me, but there are many more identical to me. Wow, man, super rad. And the bodhisattva walked from the riverbank right to the tree, called off the search. He said, it's no longer in the future. He sat. I've been there so many times. He sat, opened his heart, closed his eyes, and felt. I want to know the highest liberation known possible. Called upon the forces of his parami. May they come to fruition here and now. And it said the metaphorical demoness and demon of Mara came and infiltrated his field of presence, right? Seducing him with wealth and status and sex and all kinds of royalty and comforts, and also horrible images that we see all on those Tibetan mandalas of your eyes being gouged out and crucified and severed, disembodied and boiled and poisoned and massacred and tortured ad infinitum. And Mara was seen to be seen. Imagine if that was today, okay? You are the Buddha-S. You're the Bodhisattva. I'm the Buddha to be. And there we are in our metaphorical under the Bodhi tree in our own flat, our home in Switzerland and Geneva, okay? In Singapore and Ubud and Canggu and Melbourne and wherever you live. And it's like I'm called upon to face my paramis with no obstacle, no regret. My Dhamma is the highest priority of my existence. I refuse to participate in fear here. I want the full fruition of my mind and being. I want to understand unconditional freedom. I want to know what the right decision is here, the right Dhamma decision. Well, hey, man, you can imagine the Buddha to be as he's walking. He has a stomach pain or a pain in his chest, and he doubts his drive to go to the tree. And someone sees him along the way, perhaps, and he's an innovative doctor. And, oh, hey, friend, you got pain? It's called 911, call ER, and I think you should go check it out, and then you can go to the tree and get your Buddhahood and carry on with your teachings of ism for the time immemorial. And so the Buddha-to-be goes to ER, and all of a sudden he goes in feeling fairly good. I got strong pains, tells the doctor. They do an EKG, they do a CAT scan, and they say, my God, Jesus, I'm sorry, Lord, but you've got an acute an ascending aorta aneurysm. You're a walking, ticking bomb. You're gonna die on the way to the tree if you don't get immediate surgery, if you even have the physical capacity to be operated on. And no obstacle, no regret. I must do what I must do. And you can imagine all the decisions that we make there that are so legitimate, so human. Hey, another one comes in and says, hey, listen, man, if you only hire me and my marketing team, post-enlightenment, you're going to have 10 million followers on Instagram. And if you do a Tony Robbins workshop, I can get you in for free, and you really learn how to brand your wisdom, brand your paramis, brand your Dhamma. We've got like one of the super killer religions for the next 2,600 years. And if you only do my workshop, it's only like, $400 a week. And hey, listen, how about you do your enlightenment, you come back to me and we'll market you. And it's utterly absurd to the fidelity of the story, whether it be a parable, or whether it be an analogy, or whether it be literal. But yet, there we are, there you are, we're all human at the crossroad of the day, defining our lives based upon some theology, some teaching, some religion, some belief system. We're alive. And all these intersecting decisions, and what is Mara and what is wisdom? That's my point. I want to know what is wisdom right now, not Mara. And there's so many conventional expressions of Mara, longevity. You can hear the ER doctor, no, the cardio surgeon at UCLA Medical telling you, hey, listen, man, you're a far better teacher if you live another 10 to 15 years rather than, hey, listen, I know you teach a teaching based upon the urgency of treating every breath as your first and last, but hey, dude, come on. The longer you live, the longer the teachings will live. And you can hear all of these. They're not manipulations. They're conventional intelligences that intersect with no obstacle, no regret. I must do what I must do. And what is the I must do part? I'm asking myself, what is it that I must do? Why is longevity preferable than keeping alive a heavenly messenger, the catalyst of complexity and urgency? People die to have urgency. I heard so many nuns and monks who were formerly lay people in the monastery talk about the trap of comfort and wealth and how they were just asleep at the wheel of calculating how much and when and what to invest in and who took what and managing their people and their businesses, only to feel exhausted by it all and quite ill by it all, to finally come and renounce all of that and feel like, oh my God, they wept. They wept. I am released from the burden of conventional existence and those decisions based upon those templates. I mean, I could go down the list. Go down the list of what's an unexperienced desire. And Mara wants to feel, what is a programmable fear that I can allure you to believe? Versus the fidelity of the wisdom of your innate intelligence, that what I gather, and I close here, I think of the Buddha, as I understand it, as an individual at one point in his existences, way back with the former Buddha, which is known as Sameda Buddha, encountered this man, wasn't a bodhisattva then, and there was as I read into it, a resonant awakening. Whoa, 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 whoa. I have found the meaning of life. That this madness has its beauties and equally has its fears and terrors. But freedom is the highest radiance, and there is a way to achieve that freedom. And I want to know that freedom, and equally I want to understand the radiant mutual quality of compassion. I want to optimize my ability in a life to serve the betterment of other. And I go, wow, isn't that such a cool concept, the bodhisattva concept, coupled with Buddhahood, and every nuance of those dimensions rooted, that inform the paramis, the 10 paramis, rooted in Dhamma, based upon this deep regard to the incessant crossroads that we live in, and how well do we make choices versus comfortable choices, fearful choices, conditioned choices. Isn't that existential psychotherapy, Dhamma psychotherapy? How well do we choose Dhamma over what is conventionally right? And that is a very, very fine line. And to demand of yourself the courageous determination to be so razor sharp there, I think. Excuse my masculinity here, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm other than that. It's a call for me to take up both the vulnerable weapon and to take up the Manjushri sword right now, to get clear. There's immediacy at play on what is right versus what is conventionally considered smart. And that's a really, really, really challenging. It's sort of exciting. I'm blessed to be even talking about it at the moment, and no doubt you too. But that's the realest I can be with you today, is I want to empower no obstacle, no regret, no matter what. And I must do what I must do. I don't know about you, but you must do what I must do. And I have no desire to wish I knew. I am so into practicality of beingness. That's the big takeaway right now. The catalyst of Burma, the revolution, the catalyst of friends who've been jailed, some being tortured, the reflection on friends and intimacies, books written, a new book that's just been released. And it's all in the past now, equally in the present. But now is like, okay, a rebirth, what will it be? What will you do? What is right for you? And I leave that with you. What is right for you? And are you going to get up from that riverbank and walk to your metaphysical tree, Alan, and call off the future, take a deep seat, and truly feel, call upon the finest forces of your infinite history of Dhamma relationship to these paramis, these 10 qualities, and ask and listen, what's true? What will you do? So from my heart to yours, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of my heart and life today. And I would hope to see you tomorrow at 9:30. Have a great day.